The moment I arrived in Kashmir, I could feel the crispness of the mountain air against my skin. It was unlike any place I'd ever been, with towering snow-capped peaks rising all around. The valleys were lush and green, but my excitement was all for the snow, which was forecasted to fall later that evening. The locals assured me it would be magical, and I could barely contain my anticipation. As I walked through the charming streets of Srinagar, the scent of fresh pine and the earthy smell of the cold air filled my lungs. The Dal Lake glistened under the afternoon sun, and shikaras, traditional wooden boats, drifted lazily across its surface. I took a ride across the lake, marveling at the beauty of the houseboats and the snow-dusted mountains in the distance, while feeling the chill in the air that hinted at the approaching snowfall. By late afternoon, the skies had begun to darken. The clouds gathered over the peaks, their edges soft and heavy with the promise of snow. I found myself in Gulmarg, a town known for its breathtaking winter landscapes. It felt like the perfect place to witness my first real snowfall. The gondola ride to the higher slopes was thrilling, the scenery below transforming into a frozen wonderland as we climbed. As evening approached, the first flake drifted down, delicate and soft. It landed on my outstretched hand, melting almost instantly. Then more came, falling gently at first, before gradually turning into a steady flurry. I stood still, in awe, as the world around me transformed. The trees, already bare, were soon blanketed in white, and the ground softened under the growing layer of snow. The sight was pure magic. The falling snow muffled the world, making everything feel serene and quiet. Each flake seemed to dance in the air, swirling in the breeze before settling gracefully onto the earth. I let out a breath and watched it form a cloud in the cold air, feeling like a child witnessing something truly enchanting for the first time. As night fell, the snow continued to descend, turning Gulmarg into a winter fairy tale. I found a small cafe nearby, where I could sit by the window and watch the snowfall outside. The warmth from the fire inside made the moment even cozier. A cup of Kashmiri kawa, rich with spices and saffron, warmed my hands as I sipped and looked out at the snow-covered landscape, feeling incredibly at peace. The next morning, I woke up early, eager to explore. The world outside was draped in a thick, pristine layer of snow, glistening under the morning light. Every tree, rooftop, and path was covered in soft white powder, untouched and perfect. I set out, crunching through the snow, feeling its softness underfoot. The air was crisp and cold, and the sky had cleared, leaving behind a brilliant blue backdrop. I decided to try my hand at skiing, something I'd never done before. The slopes of Gulmarg were famous for their beauty and challenge. As I glided down the gentle hills, I could see the vast expanse of snow stretching out before me. Though I stumbled a few times, each fall was cushioned by the powdery snow, and the exhilaration of speeding down the mountainside made it all worth it. In the afternoon, I took a quiet walk through the pine forests nearby. The snow was deeper here, and each step made a satisfying crunch. The trees were laden with snow, their branches drooping under the weight, creating a canopy of white. It felt like walking through a storybook, with nothing but the sound of snow falling gently around me. As I stood in the middle of the forest, a sense of calm washed over me. The snow had a way of making everything feel still and peaceful, like the world had paused just for a moment. It was a feeling of tranquility I had never experienced before, as if the snow was cleansing everything around it, leaving only beauty in its wake. By evening, I found myself back at Dal Lake. The lake, which had been glistening with sunlight the day before, was now partially frozen, with thin sheets of ice forming along the edges. The snow continued to fall softly, and I took another shikara ride, this time in the falling snow. The stillness of the lake, combined with the softly falling flakes, created a scene so perfect, it felt unreal. The trip was everything I had hoped for and more. The experience of seeing snowfall for the first time in Kashmir felt like stepping into a dream, something I had always imagined but never truly grasped until now. The beauty of the snow-covered landscapes, the calm of the forests, and the warmth of the local people made it a journey I would never forget. As I packed my bags and prepared to leave, I found myself lingering by the window, watching the last few flakes drift down. Kashmir had given me more than just snowfall, it had given me a memory of peace and beauty that would stay with me forever. Even as I left, I knew that a part of me would always remain there, among the snow and mountains. As the plane took off and the snow-covered peaks faded into the distance, I smiled, already dreaming of the day I would return to the land where snowfalls felt like poetry come to life.